and we produce a flyer out of it. If you go on his Facebook page, he's saying that our government, you have been shouting and complaining that Landguards are seizing your lands. What he is suggesting may end up that the government is the one who sent the Landguards. So the Landguards are seizing your lands. Honorable Suhuyini is saying that there's been an admission from government. They have confessed to actually recruiting Landguards. Government. And this morning, the Daily Post has added the military and the police that they are recruiting Landguards. What for? Honorable Suhuyini, thank you very much for your time and good morning to you.
Good morning, Senna, and good morning to the crew.
I hope you're well.
Alhamdulillah, I'm terrific. Hope you are too.
Oh, we are well. Yeah. So, first of all, where did this information come from? Because you called the chief director of the ministry.
Well, Senna, you couldn't have put it better than the way you did in your intro. We have all been worried about the activities of Landguards. The very, very terrible stories that we hear about the operations of Landguards actually led to this government introducing in the Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Act 999 a clause to specifically outlaw Landguardism in this country. It is something that anybody with any resources directed at acquiring land is worried about in this country. And so it came as good news when the government made the move to outlaw this activity. The hope after the law was passed of many has been that the government will be putting in place measures to enforce the law so that at least people can be rest assured that even if there is any controversy at all over land that they purchase, it will be resolved through a civil process and not the process of Landguardism that we know has often led to, even in some cases, murder and injury to people. So it came to us as a shock, members of the Lands and Forestry Committee, when in our engagement with the ministry last week, the chief director of the ministry revealed that even the ministry relies on the services of a land guard so established to retrieve and protect government lands. And then I remember that these lands usually are lands held in trust on behalf of the people of Ghana. And the assumption is that the president, who is the custodian of these lands, has the capacity. After all, he is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. So he doesn't lack capacity to protect these lands. And that is why they are vested in him on behalf of the people. Unfortunately, the chief director told us that the president doesn't have the capacity because the ministry is the administrator of these lands on behalf of the president, and that they depend also on the activities of a land guard to retrieve and protect these lands. He didn't stop there. Indeed, he revealed that even the military, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the police depend on the services of this same land guard to protect lands allocated to them. we were all left in shock. Because if the state is at the mercy of Landguard, then what is our fate as individuals within the state? That depends on the state for protection when we acquire property. Indeed, the chief director revealed to us that this Landguard in question actually has a whole setup.
Ghana's gold.
And that government helped to set him up so that government can hide behind him to retrieve and protect their lands. Why? Because according to him, when the state hand is shown in retrieval and protection of state lands, people often, raise a lot of hula balloons. And so to deceive all of us and to promote lawlessness and illegality, government sets up this, agency and hides behind, that's his words, those are his words, and hides behind this illegality. And he says that this whole setup includes media men who help to cover up when operations are carried out and there is going to be a backlash. And then, when I decided to take this matter up, it will surprise you to realize that indeed some media men have cautioned me
Ghana's gold. Radio gold.
about this gentleman because they say he is dangerous and he is powerful and his people are fearful and that he is untouchable. He actually also revealed to us that his establishment includes members of the judiciary who ensure that when laws are infringed upon, he gets away with whatever infringement that occurs. The chief director revealed that he has his own security, people in the police and in the army that he works with. So when he secures the land, he deploys his own security on the land and protects the land. And then he now sits down with the government to tell the government how much it has cost him to retrieve the encroached land. And government compensates him with portions of the land. In some cases, 50 to 60 acres of the land retrieved. Indeed, he gives us an example of one land around the Kimbu area which was encroached upon, according to the chief director, by warlords. And that this, very, very, fearsome gentleman with his setup retrieved the land, and that in the process there was exchange of gunfire and 3 people were killed. But according to the chief director, nobody raised a finger. It didn't even make the headlines because he has his own media to cover up for him. And no investigation was carried out into it because he has his own police. And we felt scandalized that we will have such an operation being sanctioned, or if you like, contracted by the state. Very, very scandalous. And I decided to do a little background check on this gentleman. And Sana, depending on who goes to him, he's a sponsor of the NPP or the NDC, depending on who he's speaking to. And so he's connected through and through to people in the NDC and in the MPP. Indeed, what got my goat was the belief that he has created, that he was trained by the great legendary Captain Kojo Chikata, and that he is a Chikata boy, and that at some point he was even living in Captain Kojo Chikata's house. I didn't know Captain Kojo Chikata at close range, but what I know through the people who are associated with him is that he did not tolerate lawlessness of any form and could not have sanctioned this level of impunity and lawlessness. But that's his claim to fame, that he is to be feared and he is to be dealt with by the state because he is a trainee of the legendary Kojo Chikata. And he drops many more names. Influence peddle. And like I said, depending on who he's speaking to or who goes to him, he's a sponsor of either of the two political parties, NDC and PP. But we, the minority on the committee, have since requested for a contract that the chief director claims the ministry has with this gentleman. We will want to see the terms and conditions of that so-called contract. I call it so-called because, in my view, subject to the Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Act, it is an illegality because clearly under Section 7, 5, and 6 of the Act 999, the engagement of Landguard by anybody is criminal. It's criminal, and an offender can get not less than 15 years in prison. And so to have the state engage in such an act and confess it before the hearing of a parliamentary committee is, to say the least, the most reckless I've ever come across. And we are determined as a minority, especially members of the Lands and Forestry Committee, to get to the bottom of this unholy relationship that the ministry has established with this, entity to retrieve and protect government land using very, very unconventional and unlawful means.
And you said the name of the military and the police also came up?
Absolutely. The chief director, in, speaking about the capacity of this gentleman and his institution, said that if maybe he didn't put it in those words, but he suggested that if we are thinking that the state has the capacity to do what this gentleman and his institution are doing, because the state has the military and the police, we should think again. Because even the police and the military, according to the chief director, depend on this gentleman to retrieve and protect lands belonging to them.
He has a bigger capacity to do this than even our police and the military?
That is the scandalous part. That is one of many scandalous parts of the story. That he has his own security that he deploys on the land that he retrieves and protects. And the state security does not have that capacity. And that he has his own members of the judiciary. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop at the police and military. That he actually has his own members of the judiciary. So like he has his own judges that he takes his cases to. He has his own, court clerks perhaps that he works with. And guess what he wants from the judiciary? And he has his own media that cover up for him and give him easy pass when he does an illegality, like we're told that in one instance there was exchange of gunfire leading to the death of 3 people. We do not know, according to the chief director, as a country about it because the media on site helped to cover up the whole operation. And so as to who even got shot, with which gun, it's a mystery. I mean, how can the state promote such unlawlessness? I mean, I cannot just wrap my head around that level of impunity sanctioned by the state and spoken of with impunity and with pride. And that is why this matter has to be thoroughly examined. Let us find out what the state is lacking in terms of protecting the lands that are to be held on behalf of all of us. So that we can provide the necessary, if you like, legal arrangement that will even enable the state to get help where it needs it, but help that is still accountable and that is still legal and that is transparent. That will have a process that will assure all of us that we are safe. Not this, lawlessness that is spoken of. And that is why we will continue asking and demanding details of this unholy relationship that the ministry has with this gentleman. I think that the police and the military should also be speaking to this matter. They should be telling us if indeed it is true that they lack the capacity to protect lands that are allocated to them, for which they depend on this Landguard for his services. And we need to resolve this matter because it puts fear in all of us.
Radio Gold.
Unless you are not somebody thinking of acquiring property in this country, especially in Greater Accra, there's no way you would think about acquiring property and would not think about landguardism. And if we thought that the passage of Act 999 was to give us some assurance that they are all safe, this revelation shows that even the state depends on that.
In fact, just when I was just having a conversation with you, someone who rarely comments, because usually when I get comments from him, it's for birthday dedications, gave me a name. Just goes ahead and types, the guy's name is Jato. Is that accurate? Is that the name you were giving?
Absolutely. It's an audio. And he peddles, he influence peddles. He drops names here, there, people he works with, and dealings that he has had. And I am saying all of that should not matter. What should be of concern to all of us is, are we getting served legally and properly as a country through whatever arrangement that he has with the ministry? And like I said, depending on who goes to him, he's either a sponsor of the NPP or a sponsor of the NDC. I don't care. But what I know, especially the part of the story his influence peddling that hurt me, is that attempt to spit on the grave of the legendary Captain Kojo Chikata. Because, like I said, Captain Kojo Chikata would not have tolerated that level of impunity and lawlessness. That tolerated around and feared, and to be feared by all. In fact, we have all been cautioned to watch over our shoulders because his men are dangerous people. And he's to be feared because he was trained by Captain Kojo Chikata, and Captain Kojo Chikata will not train people to engage in lawlessness. So the ministry must come clean on this matter. Let us know the details of whatever arrangement they have with him and whether it is legal or not. We must get to the bottom of this matter.
Have they indicated to you when they are submitting this contract to your committee?
Not yet, but we also indicated that a report of the committee on the matters that brought about this issue will not be submitted before the plenary until we get the details of that contract and all the other materials we requested for. I've also gone ahead to file an urgent question to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to brief the House on this particular arrangement, where land portions and parcels of land are sometimes used as payment for the services of this Landguard.
Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us.
I'm most grateful. Thank you, Senator.
Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini is Member of Parliament for Tamale North, speaking to us this morning. And just listen to this.
So I remember that during the reclaiming process, 3 people lost their lives. There was gunshots, exchange of fire. 3 people lost their lives there. Except that, Jado has a section of the media on his side who don't cover all this. That's what. So I remember that during the reclaiming process, 3 people lost their lives. There was gunshots, exchange of fire. 3 people lost their lives there. Except that, Jado has a section of the media on his side who don't cover all this. That's what.
Taking us exactly 57 minutes past 7, and our guest in studio this morning, like I indicated, Honorable Samuel Kujato Ablakwa. We're hoping he will join us from 8 a.m. We know how difficult traffic in Accra can be on a Monday. So when he joins us, he'll be seated in studio with us. Before we move on any further, Eric?
Senator, I'm scandalized, shocked to hear that the state is engaging Landguards.
One particular Landguard.
One particular Landguard.
Yeah, a particular Landguard.
The state is engaging him.
Yes.
To protect which lands?
To reclaim.
Or reclaim lands?
To reclaim.
State lands?
Yes. So where the state feels that there's a land belonging to the state that has been encroached upon, the state says they do not have the capacity to reclaim those lands.
So
the state has the military and the police.
Exactly. So what is their use?
Yes. Because
what is the use of the military
perhaps
and the police?
Left to the state, they will have shot the people on the land. But they can't do that because they have mandate to protect lives.
Exactly.
So they will send somebody who can shoot them.
To reclaim the land.
Just to take land.
Hey, Senator.
Easy.
Senator, we are in this country.
So the question we need to be asking is how far he is gone.
Yes.
How many lands is claimed? What has happened in the process of reclamation of those lands?
Exactly.
Because what that certainly means is that there will be properties on those land that would have been protected by the law. Because the law says that if you leave your land fallow and somebody comes to build on it for a period of time, the person has some sort level of right to that land.
Exactly.
So you cannot just take the land like that. There are things, person must be protected to a certain extent. So government, knowing that the law will not allow it to forcibly take over the land in the way that it wants to, has decided to go this way, which is illegal and against the laws of the country.
Exactly. So now you and I know the effects of Landguards on people in this country. You work hard, save some money, buy a parcel of land, and some people will go and take over the land that they are Landguards. Now, when you visit your own land, you'll be chased away. If you try to struggle with them, it's either you lose your life or you lose the land.
Yeah.
And the state has gone ahead to hire a Landguard.
Yeah.
Hey.
So how many?
So
So it means that there are several questions to be asked. One, before you do any business in this town, you must be certified to do so.
To do so.
So what is the legal basis of what he's doing? What is the name of his company? Because for government to have gotten to the point where they feel comfortable enough to work with you, it means that you are operating within the laws of this country.
Exactly.
Else, we are saying that government is actually enabling illegality. Because what government is doing is funding a private army. This is how things start.
Exactly.
Gradually, you empower somebody to arm a few people, that the number will increase as it goes on because he needs to protect themselves.
So when you scout, you be hiring for more to join it.
The next thing you know, you have the Sudanese situation where you have a private army taking over your capital city and you're struggling to take it back. So, one, what is the legal basis? What is the name of his company? Registered to do what? What is he allowed to do under that law? What is the basis for the government agreeing to hire him in the first place? Which lands has he reclaimed for government? And if you listen to the chief, this is what I played is the chief director. The chief director said in one instant, 3 people lost their lives.
So now you remember, I'm not cutting you short. Remember some time ago, some time last year, when we started the station, we were following a story around the East Legon and Passam area.
Yes.
And that name you mentioned
came up. That came up. He said their lands were being taken over. In fact, at that time, they were doing demolition of their properties.
Yes.
And their properties were being demolished by the same guy. And at the time, they had indicated that he had the full backing of the state. The state was very quiet in what happened. So, it is said that once he reclaims the land, he goes back to the state, tells them that this is how much it cost me. The state will then decide that, okay, you have a claim for 50 acres of land.
We are giving you 10
25.
Acres. Oh, okay.
So they say sometimes 60% of the land can be taken by the fact that he spent money. It costs him up to 60% of the land. So we take over the land from Ghanaians who have the same rights as him, only to hand it over back to him. Do you understand? Like we take land from people who are Ghanaian, only to hand it over back to one person.
So now this is a serious matter.
Well, it's a serious matter.
Because right now, as we sit here, if you open phone lines for people to come and tell you their experiences with Landguards, and now I've even TV that.
Landguards in some day. Say a idea ha. Wasena area who say be a betu sika, wa bre umujenia ye juma na wa bobo sika no akwakoto asase bi kakra bi oba bi a opese osi e bi a ntabodan bi wo so no no abusua na obekona Landguards for eguso. De ya na yakura ne say asase no usi first one o sha se so ubesi a ubetua bibi fi oya na udru
digging fee.
Udu digging fee na be hyase abo concrete betua. Udu baby am friend lantin level betua lantin fee. Obetua kozi say edan no.
So ask yourself, how fees na
ekọ ne ska eska no. Ti Landguards assembly ya na ye ntam boss e okroma. Na areho say eye oman Ghana. Si ebe fo bi a branch mo say friend say jato. So no ben enji aban sase
but we have military and police
or branch and akwaji ediama
no, you say even the police and the military hire him.
They hire him.
So does it mean say he is more powerful than those people?
One person or he has a team?
No, but definitely he would have to have a team.
A team. Onon ko team ye team odom ye juma.
He have to have a team. That he has a group that is feared more than the police and the military.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
Now he has a team that is feared more than the police and the military we have in this town.
So such a person, the more the state resources him, he will expand his group. And if you don't take care,
the more powerful he becomes.
Sunday me kwa sorry say na sister bia me ferre ne pa sena
ba say now feeling
na me ferre no de bia
feeling no
oh Me ferre no feeling.
Oh, saying.
Me ferre no feeling no. FF.
What's the word to me? Shall baby out to me say, oh, Talagay, feeling no battle friend.
Yeah.
On which mean, Quenim. What the enemy?
Wait a minute, my dear, some quenim cravat. Me ferre no. E feeling no.
Oh, feeling no ferre.
Na lady no wa dress kama na the bibia was on point o hair makeup or the buy and then ye bebre na ye tete de bobo anim ni bi oh lady nan ho fe wa dress fine pa nti me hwehwehwe mu na mpesen kan bi san say gidi slouch no kwaya me mu san say me ferry ni ntino ma ntimi a mo ampin no ankwa ankoku bi san but oba de o ho isi so osiesie ho kama isi so bibia ye on point e mema o hoi ye hwe ye ni so ade na ye de ye to be ma bia hu ade ye fine pa ben say nani so nyina e na isa nti oba ho na pese osiesie ho we de ba so na wotwe awie ye bebre krofo so ye party fo ani kire gidi slouch oh no me sisi ho mfama wate ai obodwuma pa pacho ibisa na opeso be professional beautician pese osusua ayi bi na also enya kakarebo wata so professional beautician no yensuo ba bia se egidis lounge okusuo ba bia wonhwe yi a ye de eye mochifo makeup ene ye de akire wadwuma afi obewie no bi ko wadi a o de mochifo makeup na akwa na nimpacho for ni kire egidis lounge for asoe omo achimota ma 7 opposite Methodist Church na ebia no wadru ho ena no pa na se opese okoho weni so ayo tototo dia 0543 294685 0543 294685 into baba no wofie no ese kura de se mema nyina asusua bi o mema nyina asusua bi
na ko salon ya wo mamprobi haye
mahu
mema omo ha mo yitri kama and some of the women couple they prefer say mema de be yo
oh misa me wo barbering shop na wa fama o ha meba ho de bia me wo barbering shop na wa fama o na say wo
say man it na o mu yi na yo fa na say wo ada purpose ada
oh man you ti aba fe nse do obi miemia uti no kitekita uti no na obi a na ya ben o say no oh
yi ne den
etimi dia wo barbering shop na mango na ya adwuma ho a fine enti no won say obi ho a wa bie pharmaceutical shop obe call na mankuto and man na wa form so no yes small guys yeah or they attractive
but say man no so hobby bro so difficult to buy certain things
no the
oh never want to be got
David we ultimate to say ya me got us we ultimate got say na me to aswana I was here aquataps pacho aquataps water purification tablet no abagwama so intim pacho say air hotels restaurants schools water production companies offices and office homes baby bia wo bia no ma onsa enka air aquataps water purification tablet ni bi pacho we no air self dissolving odi tunso no aje say no ahuru odi tablet ba ko fa tunso no bo nse be huru sa kumwa ni nyina e wonso no na say enso no so etimi aye kama onoma boni bia entimi ene ben ensi ni say enti na mekanfo aquataps water purification tablet ndi ama say surunsu say pipe bi say ye bula ni nyina obetimi di be atum ukokura kopi be koma maame ne papa mu awmo enkurase wo nkran so a ba bibia wo bia no obetimi ene ben ayusu bi aquataps food safe so aba eno no ye de horo fruit and vegetables on mekire enuaba ene atosode ahoro no ye de horo ni nyina ho ema ne kama pa aquataps surface disinfectant so abo aquataps surface disinfectant aba eno ye de pepa form door handles and office no emia ahoro ntimpacho na no pay onsan kan bi shop o ton dia ene no ha ena bi so a osu wo fie onsan kan bi dia mpacho kan ho ten na onso ye de ben ekope bi etompacho dwumadie ade a FDA for de ben agye atum se ampa ebo adwuma pa mpacho bi na opene dodo motimi etu ade afo ni kire Ecosac pharmacy no ewo Okanshi drug lane na amom no baako na opede a uro ni kire pharmaceutical shop supermarket ana se chemical shop bi ben ubia na onsa ebetimi akabi mpacho numbers no eni from CCA na enomninsa so what is say enkrofo topa 0244 687467 0244 687467 and I say 020 90 77726 020 90 77726 aquataps water purification tablet, aquataps food safe, and also aquataps surface disinfectant.
Thank you. And also, let me remind you that the Kiddie Eye Care Days are back. In fact, they are here. And you need to prepare towards it. This year's Kiddie Eye Care Day starts from Monday, 28th August to Friday, 1st of September 2023. And as always, it's 5 days. 5 days. 5 days when you have the opportunity to ensure that you screen the eyes of your children. They'll get free eye examination, free frames, free lenses, and free medications. It's reserved for children. All you have to do is register them for 50 Ghana cedis. Children 0 to 17 years. 0 to 17 years. You have a child 0 to 17 years, register them for 50 Ghana cedis. And Third Eye Care and Vision Center promises to give them free eye examination, free frames, free lenses, and free medications. And this is not something that they are doing for the first time. They've been doing this for years, and they have a reputation for doing that. That they'll give you free eye examination, free frames, free lenses, and free medications. Register them for 50 Ghana cedis, 0 to 17 years. So when the days come, from Monday 28 August to 1st September 2023, take them to any of the 2 clinics of Third Eye Care and Vision Center. The first one is on the premises of Sunny FM at North Bridge. The second one is at Airport Residential Area, close to the Association International School, opposite the Mirage Residence. If you take them to either of the 2 clinics, they'll screen them. Like I said, free eye examination, free frames, free lenses, and free medications. This is the best opportunity you'll get to ensure that your children's eye are in good shape. Third Eye Care and Vision Center, they remain your total eye care services provider. So any day, anywhere. Whatever the problem is, as long as it has to do with your eyes, just go and visit them. They'll take care of you. And don't forget, they are also a DVLA accredited eye examination center. So if you go to the DVLA as a new driver, as an old one, you want to renew your license, they've asked you to do an eye examination and bring the report. Go to Third Eye Care and Vision Center. Give them a call, 054 32 87 008. And these are the numbers you also use for registration. Call them also on 024 59 38 389. Register your child for the Kiddie Eye Care Day. Kiddie Eye Care Day is brought to you by Third Eye Care Vision Center and powered by Radio Gold 90.5 FM. A few of your messages before I take a break. Meshak Tete Coleman is joining us. Good morning to you. Meshak, good morning to Augustina Kosia Sesi. Good morning to Niman Chelagaden. Good morning to you. Good morning to, this is Dindiogo Sia in the Netherlands. Talking about Netherlands. Good morning to Mercy Freeman. Good morning to you. And also a good morning to our good friend Elvis. Elvis Hatton.
Yeah, Elvis Hatton.
Yeah, good morning to you. Master Himbabwe is also joining us. Frederick Ni Afadi Tego is also joining us. Charles Asima Williams says a good morning. Have a blessed day. Sly Dumba says Ghanaians need experience. John Mahama and the great NDC. Not this experiment current ruling MPP-led Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. They are wrong and worst choice for this country. Young Matthew Flo says a good morning. Happy to see you all. Wishing you a peaceful week. Watching live from Abu Dhabi. A good morning.